I'm really excited to be here today and to be talking to you guys about Zotero. Like your professor just said, you had already kind of received an introduction to the library, talk about databases and about research. The next step is really thinking about your research process and your collection of resources. Where are you going to go? How are you going to organize all your research? You're going to be in school for, either 4 years or more if you're going to graduate school, and you really want to make sure that you are prepared and on the best road for success, and citation management tools are one of the best ways to do that. So in this workshop class today, I'm really going to talk about Zotero and provide you an introduction of the software and a little bit about citation management tools generally. And then we're going to move on, and we're actually going to be able to have some time for you to download Zotero and start playing around with it, and I'll act like a guide and show you really how to use the software. So hopefully everyone has their laptops out. This first part is just going to be an introduction, and then I'll let you know where to go and how to download. And there will be time for questions at the end. Hopefully there will be time for kind of exploration so you can get into your library and start actually playing with the software at the end. Jean did a great job of introducing me. My name is Lindsey Wharton, and I'm the Extended Campus and Distance Services Librarian at FSU. So my whole job is about supporting students who aren't in Tallahassee, who are studying at our international study centers or online students. And here's some of my information. I want you, if you ever feel like you have any questions about research, about citation management, any of the tools, researching tools that we're going to talk about today, please feel like you can contact me. I'm more than happy to help you in any way you need, and you can kind of think about me as your personal librarian, especially while you're studying in Valencia. So why use a citation management tool? I think that getting students to adopt the tool is one of the hardest parts, because once you start using it, you see how much easier it's going to make your life and your research process. So it really helps scholars create and manage a list of references for research projects. So this can be not just when you're looking at an individual research project like a paper, but as well as like a course and a semester, and even like, as you go through your major, you can really sort of create this robust folder of research that you've done, and I think that it creates a great record of where you've been and also to see how far you've come in the research process. The tools are designed to organize citations into specific bibliographic formats. So we all know when you get to the end of writing a paper and then you have to format your works cited, it can be a huge pain. And it can take a lot of time when you have to figure out what exactly to capitalize and italicize and where to put all the information specifically. And these tools are designed to really help you in that process and make it super seamless. The tools integrate easily with library resources and allow references to be directly exported or downloaded into citation management tools. So they work really well with the library. So when you get into using databases, peer-reviewed material, the citation management tools are just like really part of the process, and I'm going to show you that later in the presentation. And it will assist you with organizing your research. So here are just a selection of citation management options. We have some free open source options, which are Mendeley and Zotero. And then we have subscription options, which cost money. And so RefWorks is one of the subscriptions that actually we offer you free through FSU libraries. So it would not cost you any money personally, and that is another citation management option you can use. So while we're going to be focusing on Zotero today, I really want to be clear that there are lots of options out there. If Zotero isn't working for you, for some reason you're not into it, I would suggest trying RefWorks as well and seeing which you prefer. So the research process is pretty much you're going to go through, read a bunch of articles, collect literature. You're going to build a library of that literature so you have it to refer to as you're writing your paper, and then you'll cite your sources. So here I have this long list of PDF screenshots in one of the folders I used to have where I just put in all these PDFs, saved them as I was going through research articles. But there's a lot of problems with this process, this old school way we've done it. They're unorganized file names. It is very hard to find what you're looking for exactly when you're looking for it. There's no links between the metadata, the files, the notes, so things can just be all over the place and pretty scattered. When you're going through the citation process, you're citing from scratch. You are having to create those citations as you go, find all that information yourself, and it's not always easy to find. It takes time away from the real research, from writing your paper, from doing the research that's actually fun and going to give you that great process of scholarship where you're having to kind of do this tedious work. And you can lose track of research from past semesters. This is something that I think is really important. You want to see what you've done in past semesters, all the work you put in, and while you're at Florida State, you're really collecting like a body of scholarship. And so think about that. Where don't you want to keep track of what you've done and see how far you've come? But with citation management tools, you can be like this happy girl with her scarf in the field because it makes things really easy and it's going to solve a lot of those problems for you and make the research process a lot more fun and feel a lot less tedious. So here's a common workflow without a citation management tool. You have all these little browsers over here that you're using. You have all these groups of articles, a couple books you're using, maybe some conference papers or some online sources, and here's your paper over here. You're going to have to do all your in-text citations and all your bibliography, and it's all crazy the way it goes. It's lots of typing, lost references, and it's a lot of room for mistakes. Well, here's your workflow with Zotero. You have, once again, all your little browsers you're using, the different resources, but all of those are going into your Zotero, and your Zotero is going to very, very carefully help you with your in-text citations and help you with your reference list and your bibliography, and these are going to coordinate. So that means that you're going to be able to have in-text that's always matching your reference list, which is really, really important. So Zotero is going to collect the information. You can grab research, article, all sorts of sources with a single click. You're going to be able to organize, compile, search, and sort all research in one place. It is very easy to create works cited, list of references, generate in-text citation and bibliographies. You can pick up where you left off on any device. So it is not only downloaded onto your machine, but it is cloud-based as well. So you can sync that and your library is available to you anywhere you have the internet. And it's great for collaboration. More and more, and I'm sure you guys already know this, group projects are the thing. And you can create group libraries. So I have teams I work with for research, and we have group libraries. So Zotero is a free open source citation management tool. It is available as a Firefox browser add-on or a standalone application for Mac or Windows. I am going to show you how it looks as a Firefox browser add-on, but the truth is I actually use it with Chrome as downloaded on my computer. It easily integrates with Word, LibreOffice, OpenOffice, Writer, NeoOffice, so different Microsoft and different publishing options. It is supported in many languages, and there's literally hundreds of thousands of users. It stores related PDFs, files, videos, links in your library. And this is going to be really, really important for either accessing the articles later and even accessing them offline. You can publish shared libraries for your organization, class, or research group. And if all else fails, there's always manual entry. So you can actually go in and put all of the information in for, let's say, your book collection, your textbook collection, and it will be right there in your library. So here's kind of a basic infographic of how Zotero works. You have your big library at the top. This is your account. You have different collections. So a collection could be a course. It could be one big research project you're doing. And then you can even have sub-collections in that collection. So say you had a course and then you were going to create sub-collections of each project you were doing. And then in those collections or sub-collections, you have references, so articles, online sources, books. And then with that reference, you're going to have all this information, so the bibliographic information, tags, whether a PDF is going to be attached, different links. And you can add notes to those references as well. So this is where we're going to go to download Zotero. If you want to go ahead and go to zotero.org/download, and I'm going to explain it a little bit later, but this is where you'll go to download Zotero. So here I am doing a search in Google Scholar about millennials and social media, and what I would do for Zotero, this is my Firefox, where I already have downloaded the plugin. I will click on the title of an article. So when Zotero detects something it can save to your library, it's going to create this little icon in the corner of your browser, and I'm going to show you that when I open up my Firefox. Once I click the little icon that's going to be right there in the right top corner of my browser, it will save to my Zotero account, and that's even going to include the PDF. Zotero recognizes whether you are looking at a single article or multiple papers. So if you try and save, you just do a search like this with all the results in Google Scholar, you'll see right there in the top, it's actually a little folder. And so it can say, hey, do you want me to save all these things, all of these results that have come up? And if I did click the little folder, it will ask me, hey, which of these articles do you want to save in your Zotero account? And I can select which items I would like to add to my library. So here is what the Zotero looks like, and I'm going to pull it up later, but we have your collections on the left side, your main library pane in the middle, and then the reference pane on the right side, which is going to have all the bibliographic information. We have a bunch of different options in Zotero. It's going to take a little bit of time to get used to using the software and all the different great options it has. But we're really going to focus on the settings option. We're going to go into there today. We're going to look at how to add and export manually, how to search. One of my favorite things about Zotero is how easy it is to search. Especially when you are saving lots of articles, you need to be able to easily search, and has wonderful search functionality. There is a little sync button in the top right corner, and this is going to be really important to make sure that you're always syncing what's happening on your machine to your online account. And then I also pointed out in the bottom right corner the tags, and these are automatically generated, so an author can add tags to their own article, but you can create tags as well. So here we have collections versus tags. Collections are more like an old school filing system. Think of it as folders, something like what you would have in My Documents. Papers can be in multiple collections, so you could have an article and put it in multiple collections. And it's useful for really like coherent research projects you're working on. Tags are flexible cross-categorization by keyword, and it's useful for tagging topics, methods, or workflow management. So for example, I work with social work students a lot, and I have some of my students who will tag all the systematic reviews, which is a certain way of writing a paper pretty much. And so they tag all of those that way so they can always pull up all those systematic reviews in the future. If you need more Zotero help, there is lots of ways to get help. Zotero.org offers a lot of documentation and really useful tutorials on Zotero. I have used Zotero a lot, and I teach about Zotero, but I am not a complete Zotero expert. So I go through and use these documents and tutorials all the time. There's really interesting discussion going on in the Zotero forums about new features, how to sort of take advantage of some of the little-known features. So if you really want to become an expert, you can go into there. And you can always contact me or your subject librarian if you have Zotero questions. So what I'm going to do is actually open up my Firefox, and we're going to play with Zotero together. So if you haven't already, make sure and go to the zotero.org/download. So I am at that website right now. So you can either download Zotero for Firefox, so you would install it just for Firefox as an add-on to the browser, which is what I'm going to be doing today. If you are anti-Firefox and you would rather use Chrome or Safari, you would download Zotero for Windows, and then you would add one of the browser extensions. So you'll have to download the standalone and add it as well. One thing you're going to want to do is register for an account. This will only take a second. It's a really fast process, so register for your account. For me, I'm going to go ahead and log in because I already have an account. So there's my username and email. Log into Zotero. So here is what my Zotero account looks like from Zotero.org, so on the online cloud website. I have my library with all my different collections, as well as this total collection right here. But if I go to one of my other collections, it will change right here, and I can see who's the creator, when was it modified, and some basic information, and then all the tags down here. So to actually go into the Zotero account, once you have downloaded it as a plugin to Firefox, is for me, I will click on the Z right here, and it will be just right up there all the time. So when I pull it up, this is what it is going to look like. It is going to look like the Zotero I just showed you a screenshot of, but it's actually right in my Firefox browser. So here I have my library, and I have all the items that I have saved to my Zotero account. And here are all my different collections. If I scroll down, I can actually see here are my group libraries here right in the bottom left corner. So if I click on one of the group libraries, these are citations that were saved not just by me, but with some of my colleagues as well. The standalone version is going to look a little bit different than what I'm showing you right now. That's actually going to be a program on your computer that you're going to pull up, but it's going to look the same right here. Once you get it downloaded, I want everyone to go to this settings. This is the little settings button right here. And if you click on that, we'll go down to preferences. So what you're going to need to do is actually sign in right here under the sync option. This is going to sync. This is going to sync your online account to your standalone account. So this is going to offer, be able to where you can have the online match what you're doing with the standalone, and it's going to be really important for making sure your accounts always match. So with the name, username, and password you registered with, go ahead and enter them in here, and so your account will always be syncing and will always be the same. So hopefully everyone has downloaded it, registered for an account. If not, still follow along with me, and hopefully you'll be able to do this later and go ahead and use your account. So for now, I'm going to pull my library down. And I'm going to start with Google. Because a lot of times I will start my research in Google. I think that a good librarian is not supposed to say that, but the truth is I like sort of doing a pre-research process. So this helps me start and think about where I want to go with my research. I read a really interesting article from the New Yorker yesterday about politics and fashion. And so I'm going to use that as my sample search today, but I suggest you can either use my search that I'm using or use your own search. Or if you're working on a particular research project, use your keywords and you can still go along with me. So I'm going to do politics and fashion. And here I see numerous results. There is something from the Washington Post, the fashion of politics. That sounds pretty close to what I'm looking for. I know the Washington Post is a newspaper, so that would be a good source to get me started. And I can scroll down look at some interesting content, decide if it's interesting, and it looks pretty interesting to me. So what I'm going to do is save this to my Zotero library. But the first thing I'm going to do is pull up my Zotero. Sure, I see that you guys are asking for a review. I'm going to turn on your sound real quick, and you can tell me where you'd like me to go back.
Yes, we're ready. We're ready to have a review of about the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, so you'd like me to continue on?
Go back over some of the things that you said in the previous 5 to 10 minutes. For example, the business about preferences and thinking and so forth.
Sure. So now that you have your sound on, have most people been able to download Zotero as usual, either the Firefox or the standalone?
Let's say about showing that you were successfully downloading. Some people are still downloading. You know.
Sure, yeah. So we can spend a little more time looking at Zotero and talking about that while people are downloading.
Okay.
So if you will need to register for an account, and you will do that at the Zotero website. So you will click on register right here in the top right corner if you have not done that yet.
Okay, they can get done.
Great. So once you register and then once you download, you will actually, in your Zotero, which should be empty, not crowded like mine, there will be this little gears button right here. Does everyone see where I'm pointing?
Okay.
And if you click that gears, you're going to see some different options. But I want us to go to the preferences. This is kind of like your settings that you're going to set. And this is something you probably want to spend a little time looking into because it's also where you will set like what bibliographic style you want to use. But what I was pointing out was actually the sync option right here. And also make sure, if you are out here, that the sync automatically and sync full text context options are clicked under your sign-in.
One of my students just made a comment that once they've registered with their email, that the system sends through the email system steps on what to do next and how to do it and so forth. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I'm familiar with that. So I believe you just have to verify your account if you click that link. I registered like years ago, so it may be different, but I believe it's just verifying your account, and then if you already have it downloaded, you'll be able to sign in.
Okay. Okay, so the sort of the consensus here is that we can go forward now.
Great. Yeah, and if anyone has questions later, feel free. I'm happy to go back and go through these options and look at the preferences again. Okay. So I had done a search on Google, and I had been looking at fashion and politics and sort of decided that this article was going to be useful for what I was researching. So what I'm going to do is, because I have the plugin, you'll see the little Z right here with an icon. And this is, I know because of Zotero, their web page icon. So Zotero automatically recognizes the type of resource that you're looking at. And if I hover over it, it says Save to Zotero. Now, if you are using Chrome or Safari, one of the other browser plugins, you're just going to have this little icon. So it won't have the Z right here, but you will have a little web page looking icon. So that is what you're going to click to save to your Zotero library. So I'm going to go ahead and click it so we can see what happens. I'm going to get this option right here that tells me I am saving this to what folder, and that's the wrong folder, so I'm going to go in and change that. And it's also going to say the title of the article as well as snapshot, because this is a web page. And what Zotero does is it takes like a screenshot of the current web page. Because that is not where I want it to save this article, I'm going to go back in my library, and what I'm going to do, and what I should have done originally, is go ahead and create a new collection. So what I did to pull this up, I clicked this Z. And I right-clicked on my library, and that is how you will start a new collection. You can also click this icon right here in the top left corner of your Zotero. So I will click New Collection, and I'm going to title it Fashion and Politics. And I can see it's right here under my library, and it's a completely blank collection at this point. So I will hit the Z again to make this little pane disappear. And I'm going to click the icon. And now it's going to say Save to Fashion and Politics, and here is the article being sent to my Zotero automatically. If I click the Z to reopen the pane, here's the article. It is in my Fashion and Politics folder, and I can see all of the bibliographic information I need is right here. And it also has the accession date, and I can add notes, tags, or even related, so I can connect the article. Does anyone have any questions about that or about where we are right now? I'm going to turn the audio back on. Great. So now I'm going to move on. Since I've kind of done a very, very brief Google search, I'm going to go to the FSU Library's website because I want to get some peer-reviewed scholarly information on the topic as well. So what I'm going to do is go to our Databases tab and go to Most Used Databases. And I am at lib.fsu.edu, which is the library's homepage. And then the Databases tab. So if I click on the Most Used Databases here, the very first one on the list is going to be Academic Search Complete. And that's where I'm going to do my search because it's a very broad and easy to use database. Since I am off campus and you guys are off campus as well, you are going to be asked to log in. You'll just use your FSU ID, which is the same login information you use for Blackboard. So what I'm going to do is a very, very brief search for fashion and politics or political. So I'm going to limit my search right here using the limiters on the left side to full text and to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So I want to point out really quick, if I look at my Zotero right now, I see a folder instead of the little web page icon we saw. If I click on that folder, it's going to ask me to select which items to add to my library. So I can actually select all of the articles from the search results to add right into my library. So if you hit a stride with your search strategy and you have a great set of results, you want to add all of them, you can always use the folder icon to add all of them to your library. But I don't want to do that. I haven't even looked at them yet. That would be crazy. So I want to browse through them yet. This first one, Women's Fashion and Politics in 17th Century Spain. That sounds very interesting to me, and I think that for my paper, I want to look at the history of fashion and politics as well as what's happening today. So I have all the bibliographic information here. I have the PDF full text as well as subject terms, abstract. After reading through the abstract, I'm going to say that this is a very useful article. Now the icon has changed. Zotero can tell that I'm looking at an article now. I'm not looking at a result list. I'm not looking at a web page, but I'm actually looking at an article. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Save to Zotero button here. I can see it's saving to Fashion and Politics, the folder. It has the title of the article, as well it has the little EBSCO full text with my Adobe PDF image. So let's see what that did. If I click on the Z again to open up the Zotero pane, here is the article I just saved, and I can even see it says item type, journal article with the title, the author, the abstract. This is all the information you would need to create a good citation. And what I'm going to do is actually double-click the article to show you what it saved. Not only did it just save all this information, it actually went ahead and saved the PDF of the article in my Zotero. So what this means is that I saved the article in my Zotero, and I can go back anytime I open Zotero and easily open that PDF, go right there, so I don't have to go to the database, recreate the search, or try and find it on my computer. It's right there in my account. So Zotero works well with web pages and articles and databases in case I want to save entire search strings. But let's check out and see how well it works with our catalog when I'm looking up books. So right here, I'm back at the library's website, and I'm going to click on this catalog search link in the top right corner. It's going to bring me to our library catalog, and I'm going to search fashion and politics. So this is a pretty interesting book right here, Aesthetic Politics and Fashion. Sounds like it could be useful. So I'm going to scroll down, look at more information about it. And I see that it is available in Stroger Library on the 3rd floor, and I want to save this for later so I can remind myself that I want to go and check out this book. Well now, if I look at the top of my Zotero, it has a little book icon. So Zotero is automatically recognizing that we're looking at a book record through a catalog. If I click on the little book icon, it's going to save this record right to my Fashion and Politics folder. So let's click on the Z to bring up the pane. And here it is right here with all of the information I would need to create a bibliography. And if I click on it, I can see that it's right there in my library. So I really want to very, very quickly go over and show how you can create bibliographies using your Zotero as well, because there is some very, very neat options. Here I have my couple of sources. I saved in my Fashion and Politics, and I have a Google Doc. So if I'm creating my bibliography, I can actually just drag the item into a Google Doc, and it will put the information in that doc for me. Now, one thing I want to point out is because we are using an automatically generated citation, there's going to be errors. For instance, this one does not actually have an author attached to it, so you would need to go in and add that information yourself, but you could easily type it in right here yourself. But this one I knew it has really great information, so what if I drag that in there? There it is. There's the citation done for me, super easy. If I wanted to create a bibliography from an entire collection, which is probably what you're going to do at the end of your research process, you can right-click on your collection right there and say Create Bibliography from Collection. If I click that, it's going to ask me what sort of citation style do I want to use. I know in your ENC class you're going to be using MLA 7th edition, so make sure and select that. There's a couple different options to save or export. I'm going to copy to clipboard, which is just pretty much doing Control-C, so I need to paste it somewhere. If I press OK, I can easily just paste it here using Control-V, and let's take a look at what that looks like. there are my 3 sources put into my bibliography. Very, very easy. So one of the great things about Zotero is you can also manually add things yourself. That is what these options are going to do here. So here, if I wanted to add a textbook, a lot of times if you're in a paper, you're probably going to refer to your textbook at some point. You can easily add a book, or if you just want to add a book section, like a chapter. So I would click on this little green plus right here, my Zotero pane, and I would click book, and you would enter the information here, and it would automatically add that to your library. So what I really want to do now is give you time to explore Zotero, play with the options, get some practice saving items into your Zotero library, and I will be here to help you if you have any questions. So what I'm going to do is turn the audio back on and give you a chance to look at Zotero, to start playing, either using it with library databases, with some websites, maybe even try to create a bibliography. You don't just have to use Google Docs. I could have copied and pasted that into a Word document or other documents. And there are actually a lot of options for you to download and use it in Word as an add-on in Word. And I didn't have time to go over that today, but that is something that's available to you as well, and there are tons of videos and tutorials about that option as well. So take some time and start using Zotero, create a collection, and I'll be here if you have any questions.